Hi, I'm Adam Brown.
And I'm Danielle Teichne.
And this is Our Gamified World. These Level 2 episodes are going to focus on different themes relating to gamification, rather than just focus on one specific app like the Level 1 episodes did. We're going to do some new things in different segments.
But before we touch on that, let's take it back to episode 1, where we spoke about why gamification is important.
This would be the time when the mic didn't work and we had other audio issues, when the elevator kept getting used on a Saturday afternoon when no one else should have been in the building.
Yes, do tell us about that elevator, Adam.
I killed the elevator. I hate that elevator.
Really, I guess the point behind gamification is to engage people. And that really comes into why it's so important, is that people want to motivate people to do something. People or organisations want to motivate people, they want to get them to act, they want to get them to learn. And so that happens in all different kinds of industries, and that's where gamification can come in. And it's really absolutely kind of, in the last 5 years in particular, it's this huge surge of it, so much interest in it online, on social media, and it's really starting to pick up in all different kinds of industries.
It makes me wonder, why is there a need to motivate people? Why are people needing to be motivated? Why is gamification important, and why is it meaningful to us?
Yeah, I think that it's becoming widely accepted from a range, again, of all these different contexts, that there is a crisis of engagement. And we don't want to get into critiques of people or certain cohorts or groups or that kind of thing, but really, you've got this widespread belief and feeling and sense, and probably reality, that people feel unengaged, that they're disengaged, whatever the correct word is to use in that context, with the world, when it comes to certain things, when it comes to politics, when it comes to education, when it comes to the work of not-for-profits. They want to get people to act, and so you've got this sort of environment where gamification can be the solution, and more, and so many of the things we're going to talk about, it is the solution, or at least part of the solution to what people need and what organisations need.
We should probably quickly define what gamification is. So gamification is the use of gaming elements in non-gaming contexts.
In other words, gamification is not gaming. And in order to underline this point that gamification is not gaming, I put together a little segment with my canine companion Frank that I like to call Speaking Frankly.
Gamification is not gaming.
This is a game, this is a game, and this is a game. Gamification is different, and this distinction has led to some very strong value judgments between games on the one hand and gamification on the other. In recent years, I've met a number of academic researchers, industry practitioners, and others who really dislike the term gamification and dismiss any application of it as something not to be taken all that seriously. To me, this is a fairly absurd position. Gamification is so broad, any rejection of it like that can only be because of a misunderstanding of what gamification is. It's like saying that all social media is terrible. You mean that some people do say that? Seriously. Why are people so stupid? Gamification is a massively varied phenomenon, and sure, it can be exploited and misused in unethical ways, and we'll come back to that in a later episode, but the potential value it has for combating the crisis of engagement is there. Take the example of Duolingo. It's not a game, but millions upon millions of people have found it an engaging way to learn a new language. To give you some insight into what this app involves, and to provide further clarification of what gamification is, let's take a look at some more footage from another previous episode.
And on the show this week, we'll be talking about a language and learning app called Duolingo.
Absolutely, and we've already talked about this in one setting because I organised a field trip for my students to the Jewish Holocaust Centre. It was about 3 months ago, and Danielle came along to make a guest appearance, and we got up on stage and we had a chat about various gamified apps, and Duolingo is one of them. Here's how it went. I want to ask you about Duolingo. I started to learn some German years ago, didn't get very far. I had this in my car, and when I was pulled up at traffic lights and I had the window down, I'm sure some people thought I was strange for saying, I'm geradeaus, and just kept, yelling at my speakers. It's a really hard way to learn a language. What's Duolingo? I downloaded it and I wasn't learning German anymore, but I could tell that it was better than this.
Yeah, it probably would be 10 times better than that. So Duolingo is an app-based language learning educational application that actually I think it offers about 12 languages now, and I think there's like another 7 languages being developed for this program. It works, it's gamified, and it works by you do these language learning activities, whether it's like a fill in the blank, repeat the words, or what else do they do? Just like matching up words with pictures, things like that. So activities. The more activities you do, you get XP points to your profile. And then if you reach a certain XP points, then you get a badge to represent like a topic that you've covered, whether that be like food or drinks or something like that. And it just builds up in the amount of complexity as you go along. The really great thing about Duolingo is over time, these badges start to lose their strength. So you have to revisit old activities in order to keep strengthening up the level of these badges, which is really great. And I think it has some crazy algorithm which calculates how much time's gone by between you looking at this activity and how often you're looking at it, and works out the strength on the badge, which I think that's a fantastically new idea in gamification and in online learning. It's something that you don't see in higher education, which is disappointing.
Yeah. And it makes you feel guilty, because I was getting reminders at 10:30 at night all the time. You haven't visited Duolingo, and I'm like, go away. It was my relationship with my phone was being tested.
Well, they always send you like a little crying owl, and he's like, please, no, why? I miss you.
I don't like owls. I got a dog. But is anyone here learning a language at the moment or wanting to do that? Does that appeal to anyone?
So the good thing about Duolingo is it's not just an individual personal learning track. There are collaborative tools built into the application.
And you talked about that on the day.
Yeah, that's another fantastic thing. It's funded by Google. And I think the main benefit that Google get out of it is there's this great collaborative activity that you can do which translates the internet into every language that they offer. So you can work on documents and translate these documents into the language that you're learning, and then people review that and say, okay, this is an acceptable level of translation, and then you get points from that as well. And the more points you get, you can put little costumes on your character. And I find that really addictive. I'm just like, I want to get the top hat for the owl, please.
One thing that you didn't talk about at that field trip was the use of leaderboards as part of Duolingo. Can you maybe elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure. So it's another sort of competitive, collaborative tool built into the application. Leaderboards tracking your daily points. In fact, the other day I was getting some email updates from my friend's progress and how well he was doing, which reminded me that I'd sort of lost track with Duolingo. But isn't that great how there's that competitive nature built in as well?
Thanks for watching, and feel free to subscribe to our channel or leave a comment or question below.
And you can also find Our Gamified World on Twitter, Facebook, SoundCloud and Instagram, the links to which are in the description.
And join us next week when we chat about habit building and motivation.
Bye for now.